How do we move out of our crazy, fearful, uncertain, confused, hard to comprehend mind into a place where we have clarity, peace, understanding, acceptance, gratitude, and a level of freedom where we're just comfortable and relaxed and we trust that? How do we get to that point of comfort in our lives where we trust the good feelings of being at peace and relaxation without being where I first said in the mind? I can only talk from my experience, and once upon a time I was so in fear and in survival, being a drug addict and spending 10 years locked up in boys' homes and prisons. I was scared, unsure, really living in fear of being abused in these environments, taken advantage of in these environments, and surviving in these environments where I had to be somebody that I didn't really want to be, but I didn't know any better. And this was all up here, and this made my life really fearful, and it made my life really unsure, and I was torn all the time in my mind. And the problem I had is that when I got out of those institutions, that's when I would go to drugs to cope with the trauma that I was living in my mind. Now, in 1989, I had an experience that changed my whole life, that got me out of my mind and that survival mode, where it took me to my feelings. And this happened in a rehabilitation centre where I was confronted with my analytical mind every single day about why I was protecting myself, why I was trying to control my life, why was I behaving in ways where it wasn't really nice, or I was angry, or I was threatening, or I was intimidating, or I was manipulating. All that stuff was coming from that past life of survival in those institutions. So the problem I had is that I couldn't get to the feelings, I couldn't get to the emotions, I couldn't get to the peace within the soul, because I didn't even know I was up here in the mind, where it was really busy and it was telling me things that I was just living in absolute fear up there. But with consistent confrontation from the residents in this rehabilitation, I eventually got to my emotions and got to my pain and got to all my hurt and my frustrations and my inadequacies and my fears. I had many deep down fears in my heart that I couldn't even get in touch with. And the more I focused on my emotions and my feelings, with help from people who would direct me to say things like, no, Dave, not what you think, and what are you feeling now? How do you feel at the moment? Do you feel scared? Do you feel hurt? Do you feel frustrated? Do you feel unsure? Do you feel angry? Do you feel resentful? And I started pinpointing these emotions, where my feelings are. And this gave me a form of peace and release, because I got to my heart and I got to my soul. And the more I got to this place within my soul and had a distinction from my mind to my heart, the more freer I become, and the more attractive it was for me to stay in my heart and in my soul, to access the freedom that I had felt in this rehabilitation centre, something I had never ever felt prior to that. So the more I focused on my feelings of fear and worry and uncertainty and a lack of love and a lack of feeling wanted and cared for, and these good emotions that were in deep down in my soul and in my heart, the more I got in touch with that, the better my life became. And if anyone out there might be struggling in the mind, having a lot of thoughts in the mind, voices, being told things in the mind that you don't like, or it's unfamiliar to you, or it's really confusing you, or you don't know how to manage these voices, or the struggle in the mind. If you're going through any of that stuff, try and get into a mode where you can go to your heart and you can go to your soul and go to your feelings, because in your feelings you'll be able to reach for things deep down in here, not in here. But for me, I had to consciously be drawn to this, not this. And the more I got drawn to my soul and my heart, the more freer I started feeling. So if you are having struggles in the mind, try to go on the internet. There's a lot of feeling charts out there. Try to go to your feelings. Try to focus on your fears. Try to focus on your loneliness. If that's what you feel, try to focus on feeling unloved, or feeling caught up in addictions, or feeling, caught up in other, like not just drug addiction. It could be food addiction. It could be sexual addiction. Whatever it is, try to get to your feelings and your emotions and really make the effort to identify that stuff, because when you start getting in touch with that stuff, you reach for things really deep in your soul. And I think that's where the healing is deep within the soul, and it's there to access. But we must understand, as hard as it is in the head, we've got to go deep, and we've got to look at our feelings and emotions and stay in our feelings and emotions and identify those feelings and emotions, and then talk about those feelings and emotions with honesty. And it takes courage to do it. Well, it took me, I had to find courage to do it because of the person I used to be, but it's the greatest thing I ever fell upon, and I highly recommend to go to your heart and to your soul and to your feelings if you're struggling with your mind. You take care now and have a great day.